in Kashmir, we have witnessed massive turnout in the districts of Ganderbal as well as in Badgam in all the elections post 1996. Though there was fear, there were threats from militants, and there were also uh, anti-election boycott campaigns. Most of them came from the people who are now themselves contesting the elections, refusing to accept that it is their defeat. But the people of Kashmir know that this backtracking from their slogan is the defeat of the separatists. So it is in a way their revenge against the people who are contesting. So there are two types of opinions today in media and political circles. There is an opinion that people say that this is a new breed of Kashmiris who want development and who want economy and who want employment, and they're voting for it. But there is another opinion in Kashmir that this is a vote against the people who used to kill them and harass them and kidnap them for being on the
Yes.
Indian side, participating in the Indian elections.
And in fact, Mirwais Umar Farooq, who is the chairperson of Hurriyat, has said that poll boycott may have lost their relevance, but not the Hurriyat. You know, that is the larger sentiment that you see on the ground.
I think, Maria, there is a very important point that Ahmad Ali Saab is making, which is that this is not the first time that you see a voter turnout to the intensity that you see. So I think that raises two questions. Question number one, what would be the level of voter turnout, and do we maintain some of the high percentages of the past?
In fact, Omar Abdullah and Farooq Abdullah have gone to exercise their rights, and let's listen in to what Umar said.
हमारी क्या expectations हैं? मैम, कोई भी उम्मीदवार हारने के लिए इलेक्शन नहीं लड़ता, तो हमारे एक्सपेक्टेशंस यही हैं कि आज ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा वोट जो हैं नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस के उम्मीदवारों को पड़ेंगे। जहां नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस के उम्मीदवार नहीं हैं, वहां कांग्रेस के साथ हमारे अलायंस के तहत कांग्रेस के उम्मीदवार को जो है वोट मिलने चाहिए, और उम्मीद ये की जा रही है कि 8 अक्टूबर के बाद अक्सरियत हमारी होगी और नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस कांग्रेस की यहाँ पे अलायंस गवर्नमेंट जो है काम करेगी। यही हमारी उम्मीद है। ये डेलीगेशन के हवाले से समझ में नहीं आता, यही लोग जब जम्मू कश्मीर के बारे में कमेंट करते हैं तो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया के तरफ से बयान आता है कि जम्मू कश्मीर जो है वो हमारा अंदरूनी मामला है, इस पर दूसरों की दखल नहीं होनी चाहिए। अगर दखल नहीं होनी चाहिए, अगर इनके कमेंट्स आपको नहीं चाहिए, तो इनको यहाँ लाया क्यों जा रहा है? और वैसे भी यहाँ लोग वोट अपना इस्तेमाल या इलेक्शन में हिस्सा इसलिए नहीं ले रहे हैं कि वो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया से बहुत खुश हैं। गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया की तमाम कोशिशों के बावजूद लोग यहाँ इलेक्शन में हिस्सा ले रहे हैं। नहीं तो यहाँ लोगों को तंग करने में, सताने में, परेशान करने में पिछले 6-7 साल से हुकूमत ने कोई कसर बाकी नहीं रखी है। इसके बावजूद लोग अगर इस इलेक्शन में हिस्सा ले रहे हैं तो ये लोगों की, मैं कहता हूँ इसका श्रेय लोगों को जाना चाहिए। लेकिन गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया कोशिश कर रही है कि इसका सारा क्रेडिट गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया को मिले, जो कि यहाँ के लोगों के साथ धोखा है। और अगर बाहर के डिप्लोमेट्स को लाया जा सकता है तो मुझे ये बताएं ना, बाहर के जर्नलिस्ट को इजाजत क्यों नहीं दी जा रही है? बाहर के किसी भी जर्नलिस्ट को जिन्होंने अप्लाई किया था इस इलेक्शन को कवर करने के लिए, उन्हें इजाजत नहीं मिली, लेकिन एक गाइडेड टूर टूरिस्ट की तरह इन डिप्लोमेट्स को लाके यहाँ इलेक्शन दिखाए जा रहे हैं। ये
Farooq Abdullah, the grand old man of Kashmir, standing next to his son. I had interviewed him while I was there in Kashmir, and he did talk about, you know, the entire, he's one of the chroniclers of the politics there. Right. So the life and times that he has seen, so right. He had lots to say. But yes, Professor Shastri, you wanted to make a point.
Just to go back to that point.
Yes, image.
That you see a generation change, you see, where
yes.
Farooq Abdullah prefers to take the back
yes.
seat and Omar Abdullah comes to the front.
Yes.
And of course, this election, he would want to undo the possible damage that the Lok Sabha election did. But the second point I was coming to, Maria, before we went for that interview, voter turnout is important, but I think equally important is even if there is a high voter turnout, what is the voter of Jammu and Kashmir saying? What is she actually wanting to express? That, of course, we will know only on the 8th of October. How much is the support for mainstream parties? How much is the support for new groups which are emerging? How much is the support for independents who are there? So there are various forces that are in play in this election. And October 8th, even if there is a low voter turnout or high voter turnout, 8th October will tell us what is the direction of the voter choice or the direction of the voter preference, as we saw in the Lok Sabha poll. So I think that becomes a very critical factor, and that's the second factor we need to keep in mind. Of course, we can't debate that today. We'll have to wait for 8th of October
yes, we'll
to debate
wait for that. Ahmad Ali Fayaz, looking at that image, Farooq Abdullah, in fact, was the one who garlanded his son and handed over the baton much before. We saw that image. But interesting that Farooq Abdullah standing next to his son, but behind his son, and letting the son enjoy all the limelight and give the sound bites. That's the beautiful generational shift that we are seeing.
Again, Maria, I'm saying that this is not for the first time.
Absolutely.
As long back as in the year 2002, Umar Abdullah was installed as the president of the Jammu and Kashmir National Conference, and he was the chief ministerial candidate in the 2002 assembly elections, in which he was defeated by Qazi Muhammad Abdullah PDP in Ganderbal, the same constituency where he is contesting today. So it is again not new, but it sets aside the speculations which presumed that Farooq Abdullah could lead the government, when Umar Abdullah repeatedly used to say that I'm not going to contest the elections as long as Jammu and Kashmir is a union territory. So it's now clear enough that Umar Abdullah will be playing a lead role in the elections and thereafter. And though he has been repeatedly saying that I will not become chief minister, but it's clear enough that he'll be playing a lead role.
Yes, Ahmad Ali Fayaz, a word also on the independence and several factors at play here, particularly Engineer Rashid.
There is a difference of perception between Delhi and Srinagar. I will explain this way. Delhi is concerned about only one thing. They want turnout. Everybody is concerned about turnout. If it is 40% turnout, they say that it's not good. If it's 80% turnout, they say that this is the victory of this is the festival of democracy. We in Kashmir, as residents, as a resident of Kashmir, I tell you that the turnout is not an issue in Kashmir. The issue in Kashmir is the perception on the issues on which the elections are contested. When we interact with the youths who constitute about 70% of the electorate today, their major and the first and the foremost problem is unemployment. There is no private sector in Kashmir. They're eyeing government jobs, and they have not been getting government jobs over the last 10, 15 years, particularly in the last five years. So this is their big issue, and they are also aggrieved the way the open merit category candidates have been put to back burner, and these scheduled caste and other classes have been given priority in the recent reservations. So these are the issues. Development is also an issue. Definitely, as far as the political issues are concerned, let me say, Maria, that this is a common slogan of all parties, with the exception of BJP: restoration of statehood and restoration of Article 370, though Congress is silent about it. But there are now certain independent candidates, including the Jamaat Islami people, including Sarjan Barkati, including Engineer Rashid, who are highlighting now quite different issues. Engineer Rashid is saying that 1 lakh log कब्रिस्तानों में चले गए हैं. They have given sacrifices of life for Kashmir's issue. For Kashmir's issue, let me say, Maria, this is different. He's saying that I'm contesting elections for the resolution of the Kashmir issue. This is exactly what the BJP government has silenced in the last 5 years.
All right.
So as far as the Jamaat Islami people are concerned, they people are also saying that they
absolutely
they are not.
Sir, I'm coming back to you. a total of 26 assembly constituencies in 6 districts which are polling. Of course, we will be looking at the voter turnout, but we are also seeing what is being said that, you know, all that which was earlier, that has been that narrative that people do not want to participate in democratic exercise is not true. We saw the enthusiasm during the Lok Sabha polls, similar enthusiasm also in the assembly.
I think 10 years after a poll of the assembly, when people get a chance to vote, I think they would like to exercise their choice. And as Ahmed Ali ji said, what is critical is what is that voice of the voter going to say. That, I think, is the critical factor which this process sees. And Maria, just to make another point, it's interesting that in the second phase of polling, as the polling goes on, you have the Prime Minister back in the campaign in Haryana, the state where you also have a poll. So in a sense, we have always seen this, that when voting goes on somewhere, the Prime Minister is also busy campaigning in some part of the country, and that also gains a lot of visibility when voting is going on.
In fact, he has also put out a tweet, and we have that on the screen. He has said that he appeals to voters to cast their votes and play their important role in strengthening of democracy. And on this occasion, he has also said that he would like to congratulate young friends who are going to vote for the first time. So thank you so much for joining us, Ahmed Ali Fayaz and Sandeep Shastri here in the studio. This remains our top focus here on NDTV. We are slipping into a short break.
And now joining us are Ismail and Tyro. A very warm welcome to NDTV. My first question to you, Ismail. Of course, your character is a new addition to Tolkien's world. Was there any pressure or did you take any inspiration to develop the character, or was it written so well that you didn't have to do much?
No, there is pressure, of course. There is pressure. But I was very ready to enter Tolkien's world. I'm a huge fan. And I wanted to do right by it. I love the elves. I love all things Tolkien. So it was just for me just an incredible opportunity to just make something very, very, very cool. You know, it's written beautifully, but with a lot of space for me to also be creative.
And your character has a duality. There's fear, there's bravery. How did you plan to navigate it? Did you do any exercises? Were you doing any notes to play that kind of duality?
I think it's kind of just like Theo is he just does whatever like he wants, you know what I mean? Like he's such an impulsive person, and I think I just drew on to that of just like put myself into these situations and just when I'm in these scenes, act as if I truly am Theo in this moment. And that's what helped me get that kind of that action out, because really he's scared for his life almost all the time, but he has no choice but to fight. And that's kind of what I draw on. It's that
any quality of Theo that you relate with?
I think we both are very sensitive and emotional and I guess in touch with our emotions and aren't afraid to show how we feel about someone or something, which I think...
Very similar fashion style.
You think Theo would be...
You're looking very cool, by the way.
Thank you.
What about you? Any trait that you pick from your character or you relate with?
I mean, I relate with him quite a bit, you know, and that's like... it's a little tricky sometimes to answer that question, because it sounds like I'm saying I'm a hero and an action this and action that. But I think it's more things like his loyalty, his how much he wears his heart in his sleeve, how many questions, how inquisitive he is, how curious he is to a fault, and how you know, like I don't. We were asked if they were like good or bad characters or morally gray. I don't see him being any of those things. I just think he's consistently trying to figure out what he's doing here and what his contribution is in this world. And that's essentially what I'm thinking about all the time to a fault. I need to chill, and I don't often, but it's very similar to him.
But do you also feel heroic in your real life?
I mean, I think you're able to be heroic in many ways. I think I've had some quite, I mean, with humility, with some opportunities to do to take some actions that have real historic consequences, and like in that's something that not many people can say, and I've had those opportunities to actually shift the course of, for example, being in fantasy and being like the first elf of color. That's actually something in terms of like the cinema or television history, you know, and like I don't want to downplay that. So then that's a blessing that I've been given, and I take that wholeheartedly.
Hi, we're talking a lot of the rings of power. You are watching me on NDTV. My name is Arun Singh with JD, the showrunner. And of course, we have supremely talented Markella and Megan. Very warm welcome to NDTV. As a warm-up, we'll start with some punny riddles.
Great. Okay, here we go. Riddle in the morning.
Yeah, why are Harfoots so humble?
Because
they never sell them so short? I don't know.
That's a good one. That's a good
Very
one.
nice. That's very
That's a good one.
Very nice.
Although my answer was they are down to earth.
Down to earth.
Oh, very nice.
We have another one.
Nice.
We have another one. Why is Eleanor so active?
Because she's... I'm terrible with riddles. I actually am the worst.
Always on her foot.
I like it.
Very nice.
Okay, now of course the overall theme of the series is dark. How did you balance it, if you had to, with the comedic themes that these two characters bring?
Well, their world is one of the joyful worlds to spend time in. I think whenever they come on screen, people just smile because they have such a fun energy together. They have such fun energy as characters. They play really well with the stranger together, and you need that in Tolkien's world. You know, it's the smaller and sort of simpler creatures in the world that just can hold on to those basic human values like hope and friendship that ultimately can prove stronger even than armies or the Dark Lord himself.
And comedy is mostly about improvisation as well. Were there any moments where you were improvising as actors, or was it to the T? Was it?
Between like moments, I mean, it was more sort of just like fluidity, but no improv, I don't think.
I don't know.
Not that I can remember.
I feel like we definitely added certain kind of... We've definitely played within the structure of the lines, for sure, but I think we improvised with intention, but we definitely honored the script.
Yes.
Was there any light-hearted moment that will stay with you from the sets?
I mean, most of them. Yeah, most of the time.
Anyone that you can share with us?
Oh, I mean, we had lots of amazing new casts that joined us, and they were really, really fun. We had like lots of of big group scenes, and we worked closely with Tanya Moody, for example, and she is so funny.
Without even like intending to sometimes.
No, just her natural personality.
She's just...
The Karnataka High Court, in a sense, had refused to quash the proceedings against him in the Muda case. What exactly is the case? Well, this is an alleged land scam in which Chief Minister Siddaramaiah is really in the center of the entire controversy, in the eye of the storm. And now the Congress really rallying behind him. The Congress saying that he will not resign as the Chief Minister. That is a message that is being sent out. This as the BJP continues to up the ante. Well, the Congress is set to explore legal options as well. They could move a higher division bench or perhaps the Supreme Court as well. Listen to what the Home Minister of Karnataka had to say.
He has already clarified that he is not going to resign. We are also not going to ask him to resign. We will definitely be with him and see that the government will do the government's job and serve the people of the state. Now we are always hopeful in the judiciary. We are always hopeful, and we believe that the entire country's democracy is binded by the support of the judiciary.
And joining me on the show this morning, well, Lavanya Balal Jain, spokesperson of the Congress, and also with me, GS Prashant of the BJP. Going across to you first, Mr. Prashant, an unequivocal message from the Congress that Chief Minister Siddaramaiah will not resign. Your response?
Firstly, how Siddaramaiah had projected himself to be that honest politician, it is not to be. And the scathing remarks of the High Court are a testimony to that fact. So, taking the moral ground, Siddaramaiah has to first resign, and only then probably Congress can say the legal options are open and they're free to approach the division bench or the Supreme Court, and in accordance with law they can take any recourse. We are not saying that they should not take any legal recourse. But insofar as there is a change, and the High Court has made scathing remarks on that. If you read the operating portion of the order, also it's very clear that it has been done in a way that the petitioner's wife, that is Siddaramaiah, is favored. And therefore, on moral grounds, it is necessary that Siddaramaiah resign. And let him come back and claim his chair if he is found innocent by the higher court. Why not? The same yardstick was applied when one of the contractors said one of the BJP leaders then resigned. So therefore, resigning and coming back and occupying a chair after not proving guilty is good. Why is Siddaramaiah not able to do it?
Lavanya Jain, your response to what the
Congress
BJP leader is saying. They're saying that he should resign on moral grounds, and if acquitted by the Supreme Court, though of course he's not been convicted, I'm just saying if the Supreme Court does, in a sense, rule in favor of the Chief Minister, he can come back and occupy the Chief Minister's chair. But right now, given the fact that he has serious allegations against him, the High Court has also refused to quash the proceedings, he should step down on moral grounds, is what the BJP is saying.
Hi. The High Court has agreed for the request from the governor's end to conduct an inquiry. It has rejected all other, IPC sections that were in the governor's letter. Having said that, when these BJP leaders talk about, oh, our leader resigned, their leader resigned because a contractor committed suicide by writing a letter blaming the minister. That is why he had to resign. When they are saying Siddaramaiah should resign on moral grounds, does the moral grounds not apply to Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman, under whom Ms. Madhavbhai Buck has committed such a huge fraud by SEBI?
You see,
where is the moral grounds then?
That's a separate matter, Lavanya.
That is not a separate matter. What applies for the Congress applies for the BJP as well. Prashant, do not speak over me. Prashant, do not speak over me.
Go ahead, yeah. Go ahead. And
see, when you're
all I'm saying, Prashant, do not speak over me.
Prashant, let everybody have their points. Prashant, I gave you
do not speak over
Go ahead, Lavanya.
So what I'm saying is the Siddaramaiah, what accusation has come against Siddaramaiah is merely accusations. While BJP leaders, Mr. B.S. Yediyurappa and JDS H.D. Kumaraswamy, there is a charge sheet by the Lokayukta which is on the governor's desk from past few months. It is a decade-old case of Ganganagar land scam. The governor has refused to take action, but the minute it is an accusation against Siddaramaiah, they want him to resign. But they do not want to take any action against their own leaders. It is pretty rich coming from the BJP. He will not resign. He will complete the 5 terms and he will retire at the end of 5 terms.
All right, I'm afraid I'll have to leave it there because it's turning into a shouting match. But of course, what the High Court had said was very clear, that the governor's action of sanctioning the prosecution was as per law. This is what the Karnataka High Court said, dismissing the petition. Remember, Chief Minister Siddaramaiah had said, he had asked the High Court to quash the proceedings and to, in a sense, term the governor's action as illegal. But what the High Court had said, that enough mind has been applied. The mind has been applied in abundance, in sanctioning that prosecution. That's what the High Court has said. So certainly legal troubles also mounting for Chief Minister Siddaramaiah. He is expected to move a higher court. The Congress has not, sort of officially come out and said whether they're going to move the Supreme Court or not. But the refrain that is coming out from the Karnataka Congress is that, well, the Chief Minister will not resign. Perhaps a redux of what happened here in the national capital. Moving now to the other big headline, well, the latest on the Mollywood MeToo, Edavela Babu, one of the accused, he's being questioned by the special investigation team. Well, this, as remember, there are serious charges against him, including of sexual assault, and now the special investigation team getting down to the brass tacks, interrogating all those accused. Remember, in fact, not just sexual assault, but there are serious rape allegations against actor Edavela Babu as well. Let me go across to my colleague Ishika, who has been covering the story very, very closely. So Ishika, the SIT now getting down to the brass tacks, the task is really cut out for the SIT, given the fact that there have been serious allegations against so many powerful men in the Malayalam film industry.
Well, yes, Vedant, as you rightly mentioned, the task is now cut out for the SIT. We first saw how in fact, they registered all the complaints in this Mollywood MeToo cases, and now one by one, they are calling those Mollywood heavyweights against whom these complaints have been filed for interrogation. Today, Edavella Babu is being questioned by the SIT team, and he's being questioned in Kochi. Now, remember that there were, several grave allegations against him of also, misbehavior and also of rape charges. Now, remember that yesterday also we saw how, in fact, MLA Mukesh, against whom, the case was there, he was interrogated, and after interrogation, he was arrested by the Kerala police. But since he had the anticipatory bail, from the Ernakulam Principal Session Court, he was let off after medical examination. Here also, Edavella Babu already has an anticipatory bail from the Ernakulam Principal Sessions Court, from earlier as well. So certainly, even if he is arrested today, even he will be let off after medical examination. But certainly, we are seeing that one by one, all of these Mollywood heavyweights are being called by the police for interrogation. So trouble certainly mounting for all of them. We'll certainly have to wait and watch in few days as to, as to what conclusion will this investigation of the SIT team reach. Over to you.
Ishika, very quickly before I let you go, the left government has still not come out and in a sense taken accountability, not just for the delay in the release of the Hema committee report, but also as to why its own MLA has not been asked to quit. Where does the left government stand today on this entire controversy?
Well, very important point, Vedant. Yesterday, in fact, when actor Siddique's, his anticipatory bail was dismissed by the Kerala High Court, in that particular court order, the court also, in fact, rebuked the Kerala government for the delay in releasing the Hema committee report. So even the court is, coming down heavily on the Kerala government over the delay of the release of the Hema committee report. Now, yesterday also we saw, as you rightly mentioned, about the CPM MLA Mukesh. Even he was arrested by the police. But remember that in the meeting that was conducted by the party, it was decided not to take his resignation, and they gave various excuses for that, saying that even the Congress MLAs had not resigned earlier, then why should Mukesh do so? And the investigation is already proceeding. But after this, certainly the opposition has amped up its attack against the government and still continues to demand MLA Mukesh's resignation. We are in fact also hearing from the opposition in Kerala that the protests are also going to intensify on the streets of Kerala. Over to you.
Ishika, thanks very much for joining us with the latest there. As Ishika is reporting, the SIT now questioning actor Edavella Babu, an important development in the entire MeToo saga. But moving now to the other big international headline, when External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has made an important statement on China. He says more than 70% of the disengagement issues have been resolved. But he says that, well, China violated the border agreements as well. Take a look.
We have a difficult history with China. Despite these very explicit agreements, we saw that the Chinese, we were all in the middle of COVID at that time, if you remember, moved large number of forces in violation of these agreements to the line of actual control. And once troops, and we responded in kind, and once troops were deployed very close up, which is very dangerous, it was likely a mishap would happen, and it did happen. So there was a clash, and a number of troops died on either side. And that has since, in a sense, overshadowed the relationship. And when I said 75% of it has been sorted out, I was asked in a way to quantify it, to give a sense. It's only of the disengagement. So that's one part of the problem. And the main issue right now is the patrolling. How do we, both of us, I would say, patrol up to the line of actual control. And right now, the patrolling arrangements after 2020 have been disturbed. So we've been able to sort out much of the disengagement, the friction points, but some of the patrolling issues need to be resolved.
And well, now our special report from Mumbai. The first ever underground metro in the metropolitan city is set to be thrown open to the people after the Prime Minister will be inaugurating it soon. And well, this is really a game changer as far as commute in the suburban areas of Mumbai is concerned. My colleague Anuj, in fact, took a ride on the metro and he sent us this report.
We are present at the BKC metro station, the much-awaited Mumbai Metro Line 3, from where the operations will begin in the first week of October, and it will be inaugurated by the Prime Minister of the country himself. As of now, only partial opening of this metro line will take place in the month of October, whereas the rest of the line will open later, most probably in 2025. If you look around me, this will show you the enormity of this metro station. One of the important features of this particular metro station is the fact that it is completely underground. From amongst the 14 metro lines that are, some of which are completed and a few of them are still under planning or under construction, this is the only one metro line which is completely underground. It is also termed as the Aqua Line. It will go from Cuff Parade, which is in the southern part of the city, to the northern part of the city, that is in the RA Depot region. And it will cover as long as 33.5 kilometers, a distance which would have otherwise taken a long period of time for vehicles to travel, and this distance will be covered only within the span of 1 hour. Now, an important part or an important fact to know here is that when the notification was made public back in the year 2013, which is almost 11 and a half years ago, the names of the stations were slightly different, and which is why the centre recently gave approval for changes in several names of this station. But most of these names are either just small corrections in the spelling, or they are an attempt to make a more specific, to help people pinpoint at the location in a more specific manner. For example, the RA Depot station's name has been changed to RAJVLR. When you talk about the Shitla Devi temple, that name has been changed to Shitla Devi Mandir. When you talk about the airports, now another important feature of this particular metro line is that it is going to connect a large portion of the city's population to both the international and the domestic airport. But while naming the airport stations back in the 2013, the name was only Mumbai International and Mumbai Domestic, whereas now it has been changed to the current name of the airport, that is Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj International Airport. This is the Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj International Airport T2 metro station. An important feature, as we've been stressing on it since time and again, is that it is an underground metro station. With the functioning of this particular railway metro station, people will be able to make their way directly to the airport. Now, just to look at the kind of stations this particular airport, this particular metro line will cover, we can see that from the southern part of the city, it will have Cuff Parade, and from there, it will make its way directly till RAJVLR. An important thing to note in this particular map is that at multiple junctures, at multiple points, it will have its interjunctions with several other suburban railway stations as well. Be it the Churchgate Metro, one of the most important metros of this line, because it will connect the metro passengers directly to the railway station, because Churchgate is also a very important station when you talk about the western line of the Mumbai local trains. From there, of course, there will be metros will be connected directly to the Jagannath Shankar Shet Metro. Now, that is a changed name from Mumbai Central, which was its old name, and the new name is Jagannath Shankar Shet Metro. Now, from there onwards, an important station that it will stop at is Dadar. Dadar is one of the most, if not the busiest local railway station here in Mumbai. So people from Dadar, people from Churchgate, people from CSMT, these are important, busy suburban railway stations. They will get easy, direct alternative to places like BKC, and more importantly to places like the international airport, that is T2, and the domestic airport, that is T1. We are present inside the control room of one of the more important metro stations here on this Aqua line, and that is the Marul railway station, Marul Metro railway station. We'll get to know why this particular railway station, metro station, is so crucial. Of course, surveillance is an important thing, and that has been highlighted by the authorities here, by the metro authorities, that surveillance and safety and security of the passengers is going to be one of the priorities. And as you can see, there are multiple cameras through which the officers present here will keep a close eye on the movement of people. You can see here, this particular feature here manages the doors in the tunnel. You know, this particular feature kind of helps the officials present here to guide and to have a good amount of surveillance here. Let us try and put the importance of Metro Line 3, which is the first fully underground metro of Mumbai, into some sort of perspective. You know, according to the claim of this particular metro department, it states that as many as 13 lakh passengers will travel using this line on a daily basis. You know, if you put that into some sort of number, 2,500 people per metro, and metro will be, you know, traveling from station one to the other at a frequency of as less as 2 to 3 minutes. Besides that, the metro will also travel through some of the important business centers, 6 important business centers, 30 educational institutes, and, you know, over a dozen of hospitals and religious places here in the city. 6.65 lakh vehicles per day, you know, can be brought down with the help of this metro. Besides, there will be a reduction in air pollution, there will be a reduction in noise pollution, and also in the consumption of fuel. This is the depot region. Besides this particular station, besides this particular depot, all the other stations are underground. And as you can see, it doesn't take more than 1 hour for people to travel from Cuff Parade till this particular station, that is the RA station, which would have otherwise taken a lot of time. But the inauguration, the phase 1, which will start or become operational for people from the first week of October, this is the gate of the metro. But when it is underground, there is another opening, another door for the metro. If by chance there is an emergency situation, and if the people have to get out of the railway while they are, say, in the middle of a tunnel or elsewhere, there is a special light system which has been put in place which will guide them on where to go in case of the emergency. All the metro stations and all the metro platforms will be well lit on this particular line. Well, we've seen that there have been some problems that people have talked about of the metro stations not being completely well lit, but how will it change in this particular metro line, line 3, the Aqua line, is something that only time could tell us. With camera person Hemant, this is Anuj Raite reporting for NDTV 24/7 from Mumbai.
It started with his name, which led me to a wedding and a baby imminent. He worked on the loom, but changing times forced him to find other work. Our cities were transformed by people willing to turn their hand to anything. I discovered he was one of them, my great-granddad, Arthur Wade.
Bring your backstory to life with Ancestry.
Wonderful every day.
Lighten the load for the rest of the year with free EE broadband for 3 months, so you can keep the family connected with ultra-fast speeds of 150 meg powered by BT, meaning everybody can work, game, and stream non-stop with absolutely nothing to pay until December. So switch today. It's easier than ever before. No wonder broadband switchers choose EE. Search EE Broadband Deals.
At AJ Bell, we're all about making investing easy. It's why Which rate nobody higher than us for ease of use. It's so easy, even this chap can do it with his teeny tiny little arms. Open an account today and find out why we're the only Which recommended investment platform 6 years running. AJ Bell, feel good investing.
You could save money on your energy, broadband and mobile bills and feel more protected when you switch to a better deal. Switch and save now at uswitch.com.
The $3.95 trial set with our sharpest ever Truman razor. Get started now at harrys.com. Harry's. Feel good, fellas.
Discover the finest quality made-to-measure blinds, shutters and curtains at Blinds Direct. A huge selection of beautiful window dressings to suit every room. Handmade here in the UK with a 5-year guarantee for your peace of mind. Order your free samples today and choose your perfect design. Exclusively online, delivered direct to your door. Shop now for 30% off selected products at Blinds Direct. Create your dream home with blindsdirect.co.uk.
In People's Postcode Lottery's October draws, you could win a share of £20.4 million. For a chance to win, sign up before midnight on the 30th of September.
Like a baked camembert with truffle and honey for not a lot of money. Like chocolate brownies with s'mores at a price you'll adore. Here, have some s'more. All the things you'll like have landed at Aldi this autumn.
During World War II, my great-granddad, George Arthur Roberts, was awarded for his bravery fighting fires night after night. Thanks to him and his fellow volunteers, there was a city to wake up to.
Discover the untold stories of World War II in millions of records and bring your backstory to life with Ancestry.
Lighten the load for the rest of the year with free EE broadband for 3 months, so you can keep the family connected with ultra-fast speeds of 150 meg powered by BT, meaning everybody can work, game, and stream non-stop with absolutely nothing to pay until December. So switch today. It's easier than ever before. No wonder broadband switchers choose EE. Search EE Broadband Deals.
At Vision Express, I step out feeling confident.
Pay monthly with the Vision Express Eye Care Plan. For a limited time, save 25% on glasses, which means you get 2 pairs from just £5.40 a month. Plus a free advanced eye test, including an OCT 3D scan, breakage and loss protection, and more. Terms and conditions apply. Vision Express. Express your vision.
The Monopoly game is back at McDonald's. There's more ways to win and over 70 million prizes up for grabs, including 100 grand in cash. McDonald's Monopoly Power Peel.
There's a light that always shines on me. You must know what it's like. Baby, you must know what it's like to love somebody, the way I love you.
When you're setting up a new nest, starting your own flock, or they just keep on growing. Get the flexibility you need with VeryPay. Pay now, pay later, or pay over 3 months and pay no interest. We'll even send you helpful payment reminders. Shop the online store for fashion, home and more. VeryPay. Ways to pay that work your way.
He's gorgeous.
And I would do anything for love. Oh, I would do
You do anything and everything for your pets. So do we. That's why more people trust us with their pets than anyone else. We're all for pets.
At Lidl, apples are super fresh. And that's our promise. Get 50% off apples with your Lidl Plus app. Try the juiciest British galas, the sweetest pink ladies, and gloriously crunchy Granny Smiths. So, for the little one's lunch or that super crunch, download Lidl Plus and get 50% off apples today.
And now joining us are Ismail and Tyro. A very warm welcome to NDTV. My first question to you, Ismail. Of course, your character is a new addition to Tolkien's world. Was there any pressure or did you take any inspiration to develop the character, or was it written so well that you didn't have to do much?
No, there is pressure, of course. There is pressure. But I was very ready to enter Tolkien's world. I'm a huge fan. And I wanted to do right by it. I love the elves. I love all things Tolkien. So it was just for me just an incredible opportunity to just make something very, very, very cool. You know, it's written beautifully, but with a lot of space for me to also be creative.
And your character has a duality. There's fear, there's bravery. How did you plan to navigate it? Did you do any exercises? Were you doing any notes to play that kind of duality?
I think it's kind of just like Theo is he just does whatever like he wants, you know what I mean? Like he's such an impulsive person, and I think I just drew on to that of just like put myself into these situations and just when I'm in these scenes, act as if I truly am Theo in this moment. And that's what helped me get that kind of that action out, because really he's scared for his life almost all the time, but he has no choice but to fight. And that's kind of what I draw on. It's that
any quality of Theo that you relate with?
I think we both are very sensitive and emotional and I guess in touch with our emotions and aren't afraid to show how we feel about someone or something, which I think...
Very similar fashion style.
You think Theo would be...
You're looking very cool, by the way.
Thank you.
What about you? Any trait that you pick from your character or you relate with?
I mean, I relate with him quite a bit, you know, and that's like... it's a little tricky sometimes to answer that question, because it sounds like I'm saying I'm a hero and an action this and action that. But I think it's more things like his loyalty, his how much he wears his heart in his sleeve, how many questions, how inquisitive he is, how curious he is to a fault, and how you know, like I don't. We were asked if they were like good or bad characters or morally gray. I don't see him being any other.
This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24/7.
Round 2 of high voltage polls in Jammu and Kashmir, with 26 seats across 6 districts that have gone to polls early this morning. Voting areas hit by terror spike. Around 26 lakh voters will decide the fate of 239 candidates, with Omar Abdullah in the fray. Congress rallies behind under fire. Karnataka Chief Minister, Karnataka's Home Minister says that Siddaramaiah will not resign, and it's the Congress to move the top court today after the High Court set a huge setback as far as the Chief Minister is concerned in the Muda case. In the Badlapur encounter, the father of the accused has now moved the High Court. The father of the accused is seeking an SIT, a special investigation team probe into the matter. The family has said the police have killed their child, and they've also said that money was being asked and that he was beaten up. And a sneak peek into Mumbai's first underground metro. NDTV takes a ride on the new Mumbai suburban metro. The Prime Minister will be launching this new phase of the Mumbai metro, and that's expected on the 4th of October. And it is the US intel that is warning Trump on the assassination threat from Iran. Donald Trump says it's a big threat on his life by Iran. And SEBI gives its green light to Hyundai's India's IPO. IPO set to be worth $3.5 billion and Hyundai India to issue 14.2 crore shares in the IPO. And breaking news coming in. A very good morning. You're watching NDTV 24/7. I'm Divya Vadva. The Chief Justice of India has made remarks regarding the judges' conduct, saying that casual remarks show bias. The Chief Justice of India has now laid down guidelines as far as judges are concerned, with the onus on judges, lawyers, for maintaining civility is what the Chief Justice of India has gone on to say. So the Chief Justice of India closes in as far as those objectionable remarks are concerned, and the judges must not make those casual remarks is what has been said. And to get more on this, we have Sunil Prabhu joining us. Sunil, take us through the Chief Justice of India coming down heavily as far as the judges and lawyers are concerned, giving a specific guideline when it comes to the language that is used by them.
That's right. Really, in the context of what the Chief Justice of India and the 5 judge benches, senior judges, all sat down and issued notice to the registrar after they've been able to look at various aspects of what the judges remarked, and his decision to tender an apology in the open court about those remarks. And clearly it's been blown out of context as he tried to put out, giving an unconditional apology in the court. It's in that backdrop now the Supreme Court has decided to close, but with huge amount of what they call observations, and basically saying that you need to keep this in mind, that after the pandemic things have become online. Social media is watching it. It's a live telecast, and people need to be circumspect, be it judges, be it lawyers, be it anybody. They have to really understand that there is a public forum, and conduct is very important. As the Solicitor General said, social media is not controllable, and the Chief Justice of India responded saying yes, in agreement, and very categorically the Attorney General also saying, some remarks can be used later against the judge, to which the CGI says you can't definitely say things in the manner in which that, some parts of India are Pakistan. It goes against the territorial sovereignty of this country. And I think the larger point being conveyed by the Supreme Court to all high courts across the country as well as lower courts, please behave, please ensure that whatever you'd say in public must be done in a proper manner.
Right. Of course, Sunil, that is the Supreme Court there with the Chief Justice of India saying that it's the lawyers, the judges and the members of the court that should understand that live streaming has significant reach to the audience well behind the court, and this is where the responsibility lies as far as the lawyers and the judges are concerned. Appearing in court for casual conduct have a wider impact. Thank you so much, Sunil, for getting us all those details. And the second phase of assembly elections started early this morning in Jammu and Kashmir after a gap of 10 years. You remember the first phase of elections that was held exactly a week ago on the 18th had a huge turnout of voters, 61.1% to be precise. Now polling is being held in 26 seats across 6 districts, many of them in areas dominated by separatists. Around 26 lakh voters will decide the fate of 239 candidates. And of course, it is Omar Abdullah, the former Chief Minister of J&K, as well as the National Conference Chief, who is in the fray. He is contesting from 2 seats, and obviously other prominent candidates in the fray include Jammu and Kashmir's BJP Chief Ravindra Raina. Let's just listen in to what they had to say.
I don't know why foreigners should be asked to check elections. When foreigners, foreign governments comment, then Government of India says this is an internal matter for India. Now suddenly they want foreign observers to come and look at our elections. These are an internal matter for us. We don't need their certificate. And also this participation is not because of Government of India. It's in spite of everything Government of India did. They have humiliated people, they have used all the machinery of the government to detain and harass people. In spite of that, people are coming and participating in elections. So this is not something Government of India should be highlighting. But anyway, that's the way they are.
चलिए, कांग्रेस, नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस और पीडीपी ने हमेशा जम्मू कश्मीर की जनता के साथ इस्तेसाल किया है। यहाँ उन्होंने जम्मू कश्मीर की जनता का बंटाधार किया है। इसलिए मुझे विश्वास है कि जनता का पूर्ण समर्थन भारतीय जनता पार्टी को मिले। पहले हमारी कोशिश है कि बीजेपी जनता का विश्वास हासिल करे, और जब बीजेपी को जनता का समर्थन हासिल होगा, बीजेपी की बड़ी जीत होगी, तो मुख्यमंत्री भी होगा। जो भी होगा, चेहरा जो भी होगा, भारतीय जनता पार्टी इस बड़ी जीत के बाद, जम्मू कश्मीर विधानसभा के चुनाव जीतने के बाद, इस पर निर्णय।
Right, and to get more on this, we have my colleague Nazir joining us. Nazir, the Prime Minister there congratulating the first-time voters who are casting their vote for the very first time, but also asking and appealing to all the people of J&K to come out and cast their vote in this very important exercise in order to strengthen democracy.
Well, since morning it is clear, urban-rural divide when it comes to the pattern of voting. There's brisk polling in the urban rural areas in the Fasil districts like Budgam, Ganderbal, Rajouri, Poonch, Riyasi. But when it comes to Srinagar's 8 constituencies, it is really dismal polling. In first 3 hours, just 5% polling. And in constituencies like Habakadal, in first 3 hours, little over 2% or less than 3% voting. But I'm here in a place, Khan Sab. Khan Sab is an assembly segment. It's in Budgam district, and you can see here men and women waiting for their turn to cast their vote. So you can see all these women are waiting for their turn to cast their vote. Now I'll show this side, the men, particularly the young men, they're waiting here for their turn to cast their vote. So let me talk to some of these youngsters. आप first time voter हैं क्या? पहली बार वोटर है क्या? आपका नाम?
अबरार शफी।
हाँ, अबरार शफी। तो पहली दफा क्या है आपकी उम्र? 23
पहला वोट है।
पहला वोट, जाहिर सी बात है 10 साल बाद असेंबली इलेक्शन में क्या किन इश्यूज के बुनियाद पे वोट हो रहा है, लोग वोट दे रहे हैं?
बस अपना रिप्रेजेंटेटिव चुनने के लिए आए हैं यहाँ पे 10 साल बाद। मैं 23 साल का हूँ, फिर भी मैं पहला वोट डाल रहा हूँ, इसलिए ताकि हमारे मसले हल हो जाए। अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट यहाँ पे पहली बार दूसरी नंबर पे आई है, तो उस पर बात हो बस, और क्या।
अच्छा,
अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट पे बात हो, इसलिए हम आए हैं ताकि हम अपने रिप्रेजेंटेटिव चुने तो वो आगे जाके हमारी बात करें। आप देखो कितने यूथ हैं यहाँ पे, सबके सब अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट से।
सही बात है। तो आपका भी पहला वोट, जाहिर सी बात है। क्या आपका नाम?
दानिश।
क्या उम्र आपकी?
18 साल।
18 साल हो, आपका तो पहला ही वोट है। तो एक युवा के लिए, यूथ के लिए क्या इश्यूज हैं जिनकी बुनियाद पे आप अपना नुमाइंदा चुनोगे?
आज सबसे बड़ा इशू है अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट। कश्मीर में बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ गई है इसकी रेट, तो हम इसलिए आए हैं आकर हम अपने चुने लीडर जो आगे हमारी बात करें अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट पे।
अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट पे बात होनी चाहिए। लुक एट, यू टॉक टू एनी यूथ, ही विल टॉक अबाउट द अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट. There is an alarming rate of unemployment in Jammu and Kashmir, which is one of the highest. And among women, it is the highest in the country, which is 48% among women, which is the unemployment. So let's talk now about the this election. This election is being held second phase in 26 seats across 6 districts in Jammu and Kashmir. 6 districts are on the south of Pir Panjal mountains, which is Poonch, Rajouri and Riyasi, and 3 districts on that side, and 3 districts on the north of Pir Panjal, which is Srinagar, Budgam and Ganderbal district. Umar Abdullah is contesting from 2 seats, Budgam and Ganderbal, while as Ravinder Raina, BJP state president, he is contesting from Navshera in Rajouri. Tariq Hamid Karra of Congress is contesting from Central Shalting of Srinagar. So it's a high-stake battle for 2-3 main parties in Jammu and Kashmir. More than 25 lakh voters are eligible to vote in this phase, and they will decide the fate of 239 candidates in this phase. Around 40% of the candidates are independents, but what we have seen pattern in the first phase, we don't see independents making any big difference if those trends hold what we have seen in the first phase. But the biggest challenge for the election commission and the political parties has been how to boost the voter turnout. In first phase it was 61%, which was almost 5% less than the 2014 assembly election turnout. And in second phase, as I have said, initially that the Srinagar has recorded so far. It is dismal voting in Srinagar, just 5% in first 3 hours. We'll have to see as the day progresses, will there be an increase in the voter turnout. But in a place like Khan Sahib or the Charari Sharif, Badgam, Birwa, Gandarbal or Kangan or Rajouri, Poonch, Budal, Riyasi or the Katra, Mata Vaishno Devi or the Navshera, we have seen brisk polling since morning. So it has been more than 4 hours of polling in Jammu and Kashmir. So it is clearly Srinagar again showing, dismal voter turnout, despite the fact this is the first election which is not being fought under the shadow of any boycott or the violence. In fact, the separatists who used to call for the boycott, the top separatist leader, Mirwais Umar Farooq, who is the head of the Hurriyat Conference, who even has said, don't call them separatists. They demand resolution, are not separatists. And he, in an interview to Hindu, has said, look, the election boycott has lost its relevance. When a separatist leader, when a Mirwais Hurriyat Conference, Mirwais Umar Farooq, who is head of the Hurriyat Conference, that used to give a boycott call for 30 years, finally tells publicly that election boycott call has lost its relevance, it means a lot. It clearly shows that all those, calls were useless. But despite no call, we see not many people, actually very few people coming out to vote in Srinagar. But here in the rural areas, particularly if we see rest of the 5 districts across Jammu and Kashmir, it's brisk polling since morning. But Srinagar remains a challenge where we have seen in first 3 hours less than around 5% voting. We'll have to see as the day progresses, will there be any increase. Besides this, as I said, it is going to decide, today's polling decide the fate of Umar Abdullah, Ravinder Raina, Tariq Hamid Karra of Congress, National Conference General Secretary Ali Muhammad Sagar, Apni Party President Altaf Bukhari, and several other leaders. So this is an election for 26 seats. So big, challenge for the, political parties and the Election Commission is how to boost the voter turnout. Particularly now, Srinagar is again posing a challenge when we see not many people are actually coming forward to vote. But in the rest of the, constituencies, 18 constituencies, it is brisk polling since morning, and actually people are celebrating democracy. In some of the places, people told me that they don't expect much from the politicians because they make promises, then they don't keep them. But they still come out because they want revival of democracy, revival of an elected government. They don't want to live under the center direct governor rule for long anymore.
Right, Nazir, of course, also we heard Rahul Gandhi take to social media saying that vote for your rights, vote for India by snatching away your statehood. The BJP government has insulted you and played with your constitutional rights. Your every vote for India will break this vicious cycle of injustice created by the BJP and bring Jammu and Kashmir on the path of prosperity. And of course, we've also seen senior diplomats, whether it's from the United States or Norway, even from Singapore, many other countries visiting Kashmir in order to witness the ongoing assembly elections. Thank you so much, Nazir, for getting us a feel and the mood of the voters who are out there casting their votes. And like Nazir mentioned, till about 9 o'clock this morning, the voter turnout was about 10.2%. And switching tracks to poll-bound Haryana now, and the family effort as far as the elections are concerned. And NDTV speaks to Haryana's ex-Deputy Chief Minister Chandra Mohan, contesting from the Panchkula seat. While Mohan was given the Congress ticket from Panchkula, let's just listen in to what he had to say to my colleague, Gurpreet.
First of all, we will talk to son of Chandra Mohan, Siddharth. We will talk to him how he is contributing to this political journey of his father. So welcome to NDTV. How do you contribute to this political journey? We have seen all the people, they are discussing about the political strategy and making the strategy so that they will be able to go for this, contributing to your father Chandra Mohan for this politics which he has already been involved.
I'm trying to make sure that all of the youth of Panchkula connects with my father, and I'm trying to make sure that we don't lose sight of the organizational structure and the organizational focus that is needed to win the election. Well,
you have got a duty for motivating youth and just trying to convince them what the party policies are.
That's right. So we are planning some events for the youth specifically, and I'm trying to make sure that the youth come to all the programs that my father has organized. And I'm also trying to make sure that the youth get the message that we are working for them for unemployment. We are trying to build sports grounds in every village. So this message has to reach every youth of Panchkula.
So, well, you are trying to connect all the youth. So we will talk to the wife of Siddharth, because she is also holding multiple meetings with the girls, women also in Panchkula. So what type of program are you holding, and how you are contributing to your father-in-law's this political journey?
I'm very lucky to be a part of this journey. I'm actually from the Agrawal community, Marwadi community, so I'm actually trying to mobilize my community, and I have a program today as well where I'm meeting several members of the community, and I'm going to appeal to them to vote for a better Panchkula. And I'm taking care of this little one.
Okay. So, well, she is also trying to contribute to father-in-law's journey, this political journey, and the lady of this house, we will talk to her. You have been cooking food, you have been serving meal to all the family members, but in this political journey, how do you support Chandramohan for this political journey? Because we have seen this is the only candidate is not contesting, even the whole family, they are contributing.
I go around and I meet all the ladies and the women, and I want them to come and approach me whenever they want, and they should have a place that where they can meet a lady and they can discuss about their problems.
How you are going to unfold your day?
No, here we are like a family, and we are sitting and we are enjoying with my grandson, and after breakfast, then of course we'll sit and discuss about it.
Okay.
Yes.
Then you make out your plan, and then you will work on according to that.
Yes. My son is also helping and contributing a lot. He had planted at least more than 1,000 trees, and he had gone by cycling, and he's very hardworking, and I'm very grateful that the way the people come and let me know all this. As a mother, of course, I always praise him, but it's nice when people come over and let me know, my own family, everyone around, about my son. That makes me very proud. And
So we can say that whole family is contributing. So how this team is working? This is the home team where we have seen your son, daughter-in-law, your wife. They have been participating in all these things. So how do you see? How do you assign the work to them, and whether they are holding the meetings with the people in Panchkula, Barwala, and other places?
ये मुझसे भी ज़्यादा मेहनत कर रहे हैं, और इनको कुछ भी असाइन करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. ये 2-3 चुनाव लड़ चुके हैं पहले, और मैं अपना दिन अपने पोते के साथ स्टार्ट करता हूँ. ये 6 बजे, अगर मैं सो भी रहा हूँ तो 6 बजे मुझे उठा देता है कि चलो दादा फील्ड में.
तो मतलब कहने का मतलब है कि आपका पोता आपको आजकल पॉलिटिकली पुश कर रहा है कि आप जाओ और लोगों का काम करो.
बिल्कुल कर रहा है.
तो दिन में कितनी मीटिंग्स करते हैं, दिन में कितने प्रोग्राम्स करते हैं, उसमें फैमिली कहाँ इन्वॉल्व होती है? जैसे ये ब्रेकफास्ट टेबल पे आप डिस्कस करते हो, उसके बाद एक मीटिंग करते हो, उसके बाद आप लोगों में जाते हो, वो अलग अलग काम साइन करते हो, तो कैसे पूरा दिन कैसे प्लान करते हैं?
मेरे दिन में कम से कम 25-30 जगह प्रोग्राम होते हैं. 25-30 जगह मैं जाता हूँ. मेरी वाइफ डोर टू डोर करती है, लेडीज़ महिलाओं हमारी बहनों से मिलती है, बेटा यूथ से मिलता है, बेटी शताक्षी अपने तरीके से काम कर रही है, मीडिया को भी मैनेज करती है ये, और भी मैनेजमेंट करते हैं ये.
तो सर सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज क्या है? क्योंकि पिछली बार कहीं ना कहीं बीजेपी की वेव थी, इस बार कह रहे हैं एंटी इनकमेंसी है. फार्मर्स का आज हमने देखा कंगना रनौत ने एक दोबारा से स्टेटमेंट दे दी कि फार्म लॉज रिवाइव करने चाहिए, सारे इम्प्लीमेंट करने चाहिए. तो कहीं ना कहीं कैसे देख रहे हो कि पूरे हरियाणा की सियासत को, कि आप डिप्टी चीफ मिनिस्टर भी रहे हो?
कांग्रेस पार्टी हमेशा अपने प्रोग्राम पॉलिसी पे वोट मांगती है, हम डेवलपमेंट पे वोट मांगते हैं, जो हमने क्या किया और क्या हम करने जा रहे हैं. हम कोई जाति पाति की बात नहीं करते, छत्तीस बिरादरी की बात करते हैं.
तो शैलजा जी आ रहे हैं, क्योंकि लगातार बीजेपी इस बात को एक्सप्लॉइट कर रही है कि पार्टी इन फाइटिंग है. तो शैलजा जी आ रहे हैं कैंपेन करने. आपको लग रहा है कि कोई पार्टी में इन फाइटिंग नहीं है, कि जहाँ है जो आपको डेंट कर सकते?
नहीं, कोई इन फाइटिंग नहीं है. आदरणीय बहन शैलजा जी 29 को पंचकुला आ रहे हैं, आप भी आइएगा.
And switching tracks to Karnataka now, and the Chief Minister there, Siddharamaiah, will be filing.
It started with his name, which led me to a wedding and a baby imminent. He worked on the loom, but changing times forced him to find other work. Our cities were transformed by people willing to turn their hand to anything. I discovered he was one of them, my great-granddad, Arthur Wade.
Bring your backstory to life with Ancestry.
wonderful every day.
Lighten the load for the rest of the year with free EE broadband for 3 months, so you can keep the family connected with ultra-fast speeds of 150 meg powered by BT, meaning everybody can work, game, and stream non-stop with absolutely nothing to pay until December. So switch today. It's easier than ever before. No wonder broadband switchers choose EE. Search EE broadband deals.
At AJ Bell, we're all about making investing easy. It's why Which rate nobody higher than us for ease of use. It's so easy, even this chap can do it with his teeny tiny little arms. Open an account today and find out why we're the only Which recommended investment platform 6 years running. AJ Bell, feel good investing.
You could save money on your energy, broadband and mobile bills and feel more protected when you switch to a better deal. Switch and save now at uswitch.com.
The $3.95 trial set with our sharpest ever Truman razor. Get started now at harrys.com. Harry's. Feel good, fellas.
Discover the finest quality made-to-measure blinds, shutters and curtains at Blinds Direct. A huge selection of beautiful window dressings to suit every room. Handmade here in the UK with a 5-year guarantee for your peace of mind. Order your free samples today and choose your perfect design. Exclusively online, delivered direct to your door. Shop now for 30% off selected products at Blinds Direct. Create your dream home with blindsdirect.co.uk.
In People's Postcode Lottery's October draws, you could win a share of £20.4 million. For a chance to win, sign up before midnight on the 30th of September.
Like a baked camembert with truffle and honey for not a lot of money. Like chocolate brownies with s'mores at a price you'll adore. Here, have some s'more. All the things you'll like have landed at Aldi this autumn.
We have with us Karnataka BJP Chief, Mr. B.Y. Vijayendra. So thank you so much for joining us. First and foremost, Chief Minister Siddaramaiah vehemently claiming that he will not resign. And what are your thoughts on it? What kind of pressure will the BJP put in terms of moral grounds having him resign?
Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, I was watching his press briefing yesterday. Even after the High Court judgment, even after the observation by the Honorable High Court that prima facie case has been made out in Mysore Muda scam, and Chief Minister family is beneficiary in this Muda scam, and Chief Minister is has silently supported this corruption case. This is an observation not made by the Bharatiya Janata Party. This is an observation made by the High Court. In spite of this, the claim of Chief Minister Siddaramaiah that he is very innocent, is not corrupt, and is not going to resign on these allegations is very unfortunate. Bharatiya Janata Party, we had raised these corruption issues against the Congress government. We had raised these issues against corrupt Chief Minister Siddaramaiah ji. After Governor has accorded sanction, after High Court has upheld the sanction, Governor sanction, Bharatiya Janata Party, we are going to fight it out. We will take it to the streets and we will ensure Siddaramaiah should resign.
He has also mentioned that this is political conspiracy of the BJP as well as the JDS, also talking about how they have made several futile attempts to destabilize the government.
Madam, yesterday's observation made
IKEA, the wonderful every day.
Lighten the load for the rest of the year with free EE broadband for 3 months, so you can keep the family connected with ultra-fast speeds of 150 meg powered by BT, meaning everybody can work, game, and stream non-stop with absolutely nothing to pay until December. So switch today. It's easier than ever before. No wonder broadband switchers choose EE. Search EE broadband deals.
At Vision Express, I step out feeling confident.
Pay monthly with the Vision Express Eye Care Plan. For a limited time, save 25% on glasses, which means you get 2 pairs from just £5.40 a month. Plus a free advanced eye test, including an OCT 3D scan, breakage and loss protection, and more. Terms and conditions apply. Vision Express. Express your vision.
Didn't win on pack? Get another chance in-app. The Monopoly game at McDonald's.
He's gorgeous.
And I would do anything for love. Oh, I would do anything.
You do anything and everything for your pets. So do we. That's why more people trust us with their pets than anyone else. We're all for pets.
There's a light that always shines on me. You must know what it's like. Baby, you must know what it's like to love somebody, the way I love you.
At Lidl, apples are super fresh. And that's our promise. Get 50% off apples with your Lidl Plus app. Try the juiciest British galas, the sweetest pink ladies, and gloriously crunchy Granny Smiths. So, for the little one's lunch or that super crunch, download Lidl Plus and get 50% off apples today.
With Virgin Media, get smooth, lightning fast M125 broadband. Just £24 a month and no setup fee. It's now even easier to switch to the provider awarded Best Broadband Experience. Yeah, that's smooth. Virgin Media. See what you can do. Visit virginmedia.com.
You are watching The World 24/7 on the NDTV network. I'm Parmeshwar Baba. Let's begin with the headlines for tracking at the moment. An Israeli airstrike in Beirut has killed a senior Hezbollah commander, fueling fears that Lebanon may soon be enveloped in a Middle East conflict. A days-long Israeli assault on the Lebanese group, part of the country's expanded war aims that has shifted military focus from Gaza to its northern border, has killed hundreds, including children. As Israel faces a critical juncture in its history with its war on two fronts with Hamas and Hezbollah, the country's envoy to India has said it has been attacked more than any other nation in modern times, and all its actions are driven by the objective of rooting out radicalism and establishing peace and stability. We have an exclusive interview lined up for you. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan again compares Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to Hitler, this time doing it in his speech to the United Nations General Assembly. And Brian Ruth, a former construction worker, has now been charged with the attempted assassination of the former US President Donald Trump. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump has been briefed by US intelligence officials on alleged threats from Iran to assassinate him, Trump's campaign has said. The US president declared in his final address to the UN General Assembly, he said that the US must not retreat from the world as Israel and Hezbollah militants in Lebanon edge towards all-out war, and Israel's bloody operation against Hamas in Gaza nears the one-year mark. China's central bank unleashed an unprecedented blitz of policy support for the economy as authorities made their boldest swing so far to hit this year's annual growth target of about 5% after a flurry of Wall Street banks downgraded their forecasts. Sri Lanka welcomed its 16th Prime Minister. Haryana became the first woman to hold the position since the year 2000.
She spent her formative college years at Delhi University in the early 1990s. Many believe her appointment could further strengthen ties between India and Sri Lanka. Our big focus, an Israeli airstrike on Beirut killed a senior Hezbollah commander, fueling fears that Lebanon may soon be enveloped in a metastasizing Middle East conflict. In fact, a days-long Israeli assault on the Lebanese group, part of the country's expanded war aims that has shifted military focus from Gaza to its northern border, has killed hundreds, including children. And while analysts say the aerial offensive has degraded Hezbollah's capabilities, many have nevertheless noted its massive weapons arsenal and preparations for a ground war in Lebanon. If such an Israeli operation takes place, it's not going to be a walk in the park, as one retired Israeli military official put it. Here are the finer details for you.
First, the pager blast, then walkie-talkie explosions, and now multiple aerial strikes by Israel into Lebanon. The strikes have killed hundreds of people and left several others injured. Israel has called them preemptive strikes to weaken Hezbollah.
למי שעדיין לא הבין, אני רוצה להעביר את מדיניות ישראל. אנחנו לא מחכים לאיום, אנחנו מקדימים אותו. בכל מקום, בכל זירה, בכל עת. אנחנו מחסלים בכירים, מחסלים מחבלים, מחסלים טילים, ועוד ידנו נטויה.
Israel claims they are targeting Hezbollah commanders and fighters. But it's been a nightmare for civilians of Lebanon who are now struggling with displacement, in a way mirroring what residents in Gaza are going through.
تعذبنا كثير على الترقان، لا قدرنا وصلنا. في ناس قرايبين من اخواتي واخوات مرتي ناموا على الشوارع بعد لحد هلا مش ملاقيين مأوى. يعني المدارس سكرت مثل منك شايف يعني.
Lebanon is located on the northern border of Israel, and both sides have been targeting civilian areas. Israeli cities of Afula, Haifa, Kiryat Shmona have been under attack. While cities of Baalbek, Beirut and others are under intense aerial attack from Israel. Israel yet again claims that Hezbollah is solely responsible for the situation in Lebanon, as it was hiding weapons and rocket launchers in residential areas.
We provided advance warning to civilians in specific villages in Lebanon where Hezbollah embedded its military assets and weapons and warned them to move out of harm's way. However, even as we called on civilians to move away from danger, we saw that Hezbollah operatives were doing the opposite and acted to prevent civilian moving safety.
Meanwhile, Iran has also hinted at retaliation against Israel.
As world leaders have gathered for UNGA in United States, all eyes will be whether these leaders manage to achieve a ceasefire deal for what is happening in the Middle East, and whether they will be able to restore normalcy in a region which has been on boil for the last 1 year. In Delhi, Mohammad Ghazali for NDTV.
My colleague Mohammad Ghazali also joins us live for a quick update at the moment. Ghazali, Israeli strikes on Lebanon continue as Iran says Hezbollah cannot stand alone.
Yeah, the Israeli strike continue, and many of the Israeli soldiers or officers, senior commanding officers, have hinted that perhaps we should not give any space and time for Hezbollah to regather or regroup its commanders. After the pager blast, all the explosions in the walkie-talkie and other electronic devices killed hundreds of the Hezbollah commanders, as Israel claims, and then aerial strikes which have been going on in Lebanon for the last 3 days. That has also weakened Hezbollah. But those who have seen Hezbollah reacting against Israel for years now hint that perhaps Hezbollah still has enough arms and ammunition as well as personnel on the ground that it can still attack on Israel. And that's quite evident that even yesterday, it was not just Israel which was sort of carrying out aerial strikes in Lebanon, but Hezbollah was still firing rockets in civilian areas of Israel. And thanks to the Iron Dome that The damage has been inflicted, but no civilian casualty or injuries have been reported. But enough rockets, pile of ammunition is with Hezbollah that it still continues to attack Israel. Now, the major challenge, and I would correct myself, that this challenge is now becoming a major failure for U.S. administration, because the Biden administration for the last 1 year has been saying that perhaps it is working tirelessly to achieve a ceasefire deal and to contain this conflict in the Middle East from spilling over to other regions. But what we have seen in the last 1 year is that first it was militias from Iraq, then Houthis from Yemen, and Hezbollah continues to attack. Now Israel has opened another front with Hezbollah on the northern border, and perhaps that is not going to be anyone in the Middle East region until this entire situation is brought in control.
As always, Ghazali, thanks so much for joining us with that update. We will, of course, revert to you for a regular update. As Israel faces a critical juncture in its history with its war on two fronts, with Hamas and Hezbollah, the country's envoy to India has said it has been attacked more than any other nation in modern times, and all its actions are actually driven by the objective of rooting out radicalism and establishing peace and stability. Listen in.
Reuven Azar is Ambassador of Israel to India. Thank you so much for taking time out and coming to NDTV studio. Ambassador Azar, after 500 lives were lost in Lebanon, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had reached out to the Lebanese people, and he had said that they should not become human shields for the Hezbollah. But the question is, the number of civilian casualties is very high, both in Gaza and in Lebanon. Why are they becoming collateral in this prolonged war?
Well, Maria, thank you for this interview. What is happening in Lebanon right now is that in the last 48 hours, we targeted more than 1,700 military targets, and most of them were embedded inside the homes of civilians in southern Lebanon. What Hezbollah has done in the last few years is a double war crime. They have been embedding their missiles inside the homes of people to conceal them from Israel, and they have been firing indiscriminately at civilians in northern Israel from these installations. So what Israel had to do is to take out, we have gathered meticulously intelligence about these locations in the last few years, and fortunately we've been able to target and to destroy dozens thousands of missiles that were in those areas. Now, the families that were living there are some of them that didn't evacuate on time, despite the fact that we called them by phone, we intercepted their radio communications, we tried in any way possible to take them out of harm's way. Despite that fact, yes, there were some civilians that were killed as well.
You know, we have seen pagers and other devices explode in Lebanon, and Hezbollah has blamed Israel for it. You know, this is a new age digital warfare that we are seeing play out. What exactly is your reading of the situation?
Well, you know, in the past there used to be either wars between conventional armies or fights against terrorism. I think that today war has kind of a hybrid nature. We've seen it in Israel because we have been attacked like no other country in the history of modern times, and we have been attacked not only with rockets and missiles, but also with cyber attacks. We've been attacked from the air, from the sea, from the land, from tunnels, from very different ways. And at the end of the day, you have to create a situation in which you can not only defend yourself, but also be able to surprise your enemy. So, you know, I won't go into details of what Israel is doing or is not doing, but the bottom line is that if we want to achieve stability, we have to show to these terrorists that are using unconventional and unethical and immoral ways of fighting that we can also surprise them.
Meanwhile, Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has compared the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to Nazi dictator Hitler on Tuesday, urging that he be stopped. Erdogan said during his speech at the 79th United Nations General Assembly in New York, just as Hitler was stopped by the Alliance of Humanity 70 years ago, Netanyahu and his murder network must also be stopped by the Alliance of Humanity. In fact, the Turkish president criticized the United Nations for failing to fulfill its original mission and instead becoming, and I quote, a dysfunctional structure. In other news, US President Joe Biden used his final United Nations speech to defend his foreign policy achievements and also urged people not to grow weary in the face of global conflict. He stressed the world was at an inflection point in our history, with the Gaza war expanding across the Middle East, a humanitarian disaster unfolding in Sudan, and Ukraine still embroiled in what he called Putin's war, and no end in sight for any of these crises. But as many geopolitical analysts argue, alongside the tumultuous US withdrawal from Afghanistan, and with Israel now focusing military efforts on Lebanon, the war in Gaza looks set to be remembered as the final nail in the coffin for Joe Biden's foreign policy legacy. My colleague Mitch McCann joins us with a roundup of the key takeaways.
Since October 7, we've also been determined to prevent a wider war that engulfs the entire region. Hezbollah, unprovoked, joined the October 7 attack, launching rockets into Israel. Almost a year later, too many on each side of the Israeli-Lebanon border remain displaced. A full-scale war is not in anyone's interest. Even if the situation has escalated, a diplomatic solution is still possible. In fact, it remains the only path to lasting security to allow the residents from both countries to return to their homes and the border safely. And that's what we're working tirelessly to achieve.
Joe Biden used his final opportunity to speak to the General Assembly to reflect on his administration's foreign policy successes, which he said included rebuilding Western alliances to support Ukraine. But Biden also sent a warning to world leaders not to waste time in acting to solve some of the planet's biggest crises at the moment. His speech came amid escalating tensions in the Middle East, following Israeli strikes on targets within Lebanon. And speaking of that situation, Biden said we've also been determined to prevent a wider war that engulfs the entire region. And he added that a full-scale war is not in anyone's interest. Amid wars in the Middle East, Ukraine and in Sudan, the 81-year-old president sought to reassure leaders that there is still hope for the future. Biden recounted arriving at the US Senate in 1972, at a time when he said the country was both angry and divided over the war in Vietnam. The president pointed out that the US and Vietnam are now partners and friends, to show in his words that things can get better. Mitch McCann, NDTV, at the United Nations in New York.
With that, let's turn our attention now to China. Well, China has unleashed a swath of stimulus measures, including cuts to its benchmark interest rate, as Beijing battles a slowdown in the world's second largest economy. In a rare public briefing, the People's Bank of China also announced government funding to boost the stock market and aid share buybacks, as well as more support for the stricken property sector. Adopting a suite of measures to reduce borrowing costs, the People's Bank of China cut interest rates on existing mortgages by 0.5 percentage points and also supported new lending by reducing the level of reserve banks must set aside before making loans. But business activity in China is slowing down, and citizens are wondering whether, as promised by those in power, tomorrow really will be better than yesterday. But the authorities, it seems, are not about to let doubts creep in, publicly at least, because of the practice of censorship there. But joining us for a quick comment at the moment, Mohan Guruswamy. Thank you so much, sir, for making time for us. Many economists blame the crisis in China on Xi Jinping's effort to boost the state sector, rein in what he considers capitalistic excess, and protect China against perceived foreign threats. Can you relate to this perspective, sir? What's your take?
The understanding is that China's problem is, one is too much of production. Its production capacity is huge and is overextended now. The world doesn't have enough demand. Chinese themselves are not consuming their goods. There's not enough demand in China, so producer prices are deflating. And they've already been deflating now for 8 months. Besides this, they have a huge problem with liquidity. They've got so much of money in the market with earlier pump priming that there's a kind of overheating of the economy on one side, which is not, even that is not, availability of cash is not making the Chinese consume more. The Chinese citizen is so uncertain about the future that he's just not buying. If you bought a house, then you're stuck with it, as you could be in Shanghai or Nanjing or any other place, and you can't even sell it, then you're not going to buy another house. That's the problem in China. People are just not consuming, they're saving, thinking that the rainy day is coming. And the rainy day is being postponed for a few months at a time, but it is going to come. Because you simply, meanwhile the world, which consumes Chinese goods, has also tightened up. US has just put huge duties, India has got duties, Brazil has got duties, Mexico's put duties, Europe is putting duties. Some countries, the duties are as high as 200%. The EV cars, which are coming to India in such large numbers, how long will they come? There's already a demand within the industry. Indian producers are saying, you've got to get duties up because Chinese exports are subsidized. So if the world tightens up on China, the economy will get even worse. And unless Chinese citizens start consuming more, it is going to slow down. And Chinese citizen has not shown any sign of consuming more or wanting to consume more. Besides, China has also entered a demographic trap where there are more old people now than young people.
Yes.
And as you know, old people don't consume. They save for hoping, thinking, preparing for a worse day. And young people are just not buying either. So China is in a double whammy.
In fact, some analysts remain wary that China's stimulus measures won't actually have drastic enough impacts to actually rescue the country from its economic woes. But thank you so much, sir, for joining us on The World 24/7 and making time for us. With that, we're slipping into a very short break. News and updates continue in a moment right here on NDTV 24/7.
At Vision Express, I step out feeling confident.
Pay monthly with the Vision Express eye care plan. For a limited time, save 25% on glasses, which means you get 2 pairs from just £5.40 a month. Plus a free advanced eye test, including an OCT 3D scan, breakage and loss protection, and more. Terms and conditions apply. Vision Express. Express your vision.
In People's Postcode Lottery's October draws, you could win a share of £20.4 million. For a chance to win, sign up before midnight on the 30th of September.
IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
Like autumn spiced scents for a few pounds and pence. Like chocolate brownies with s'mores at a price you'll adore. Here, have some s'more. All the things you'll like have landed at Aldi this autumn.
The $3.95 trial set with our sharpest ever Truman razor. Get started now at harrys.com. Harry's. Feel good, fellas.
At AJ Bell, we're all about making investing easy. It's why Which rate nobody higher than us for ease of use. It's so easy, even this chap can do it with his teeny tiny little arms. Open an account today and find out why we're the only Which recommended investment platform 6 years running. AJ Bell. Feel good investing.
Discover the finest quality made-to-measure blinds, shutters and curtains at Blinds Direct. A huge selection of beautiful window dressings to suit every room. Handmade here in the UK with a 5-year guarantee for your peace of mind. Order your free samples today and choose your perfect design. Exclusively online, delivered direct to your door. Shop now for 30% off selected products at Blinds Direct. Create your dream home with blindsdirect.co.uk.
Do you need to borrow money? Then you've come to the right place. Everyday Loans. Representative APR 99.9%. Apply now at everydayloans.co.uk.
We know travel can be confusing. That's why I use travelup.com. Once booked, you can change, cancel, and get refunds, all online with just a few clicks. And while you're away, TravelUp has you covered. Get your gate number directly to your phone. And get this, TravelUp will even automatically process your compensation claims if your flight has been delayed or disrupted.
Book now on travelup.com or call 0207 580 5000. Travelup. Flights, hotels, holidays.
And now joining us are Ismail and Tyro. A very warm welcome to NDTV. My first question to you, Ismail. Of course, your character is a new addition to Tolkien's world. Was there any pressure or did you take any inspiration to develop the character, or was it written so well that you didn't have to do much?
No, there is pressure, of course. There is pressure. But I was very ready to enter Tolkien's world. I'm a huge fan. And I wanted to do right by it. I love the elves. I love all things Tolkien. So it was just for me just an incredible opportunity to just make something very, very, very cool. You know, it's written beautifully, but with a lot of space for me to also be creative.
And your character has a duality. There's fear, there's bravery. How did you plan to navigate it? Did you do any exercises? Were you doing any notes to play that kind of duality?
I think it's kind of just like Theo is he just does whatever like he wants, you know what I mean? Like he's such an impulsive person, and I think I just drew on to that of just like put myself into these situations and just when I'm in these
Welcome back. Ryan Ruth, the gunman accused of planning to kill Donald Trump at his Florida golf course, was indicted on 3 additional counts, including attempted assassination of a major presidential candidate. He has already been charged with 2 gun crimes in relation to this assassination incident. A quick update from Sri Lanka now. In one of the most significant moves as Sri Lanka's newly elected president, leftist leader Anura Kumara Dissanayake has actually dissolved the country's parliament and called for snap polls within 1 month. The aim behind the move is for the new leader to follow up on his electoral promise of bringing change in Sri Lanka's decades-old rule by political families. Thank you for investing your time and watching this edition of The World 24/7. We'll keep tracking the latest updates for you. Do stay tuned.
During World War II, my great-granddad, George Arthur Roberts, was one of the everyday people who volunteered in the fire service and became heroes by night. He was awarded the British Empire Medal. It was thanks to my great-granddad and his fellow volunteers that there was a city to wake up to.
Discover the untold stories of World War II in millions of records and